And let's get this Instagram feed up. And here we go. I am Coach James. I am the creator and lead instructor for All About Aerodynamics, which is a science program that uses Hot Wheels cars to teach kindergarten through 6th grade students about a range of science and physics-related concepts, including, but not limited to, friction, force, aerodynamics, drag, lift, Isaac Newton and his 3 laws of motion, kinetic energy, potential energy, elastic force, a range of topics. After we have gone through all of the science topics, after we've conducted experiments to drive home those concepts, then and only then do I bring in about 400 different Hot Wheels cars, and each student has the opportunity to select a Hot Wheels car they think would be fastest in a series of races based on everything they've learned in the class. Once they have selected their cars, then they weigh their cars, they test the speed of their cars, they check the year the car was manufactured, the materials the car is made from. Everything that they can observe about the cars, they observe that, they document it in a spreadsheet, and then all that's left is to set up a 1/64th scale quarter-mile drag strip, and the students do that. And they race their cars. We have a little tournament, and they observe how their cars perform. Did their cars perform up to or below their expectations? And if they had the chance, would they select that same car again, or would they make a different choice based on everything they've learned in the course? In the end, we have fun with Hot Wheels cars, and we learn science. What could be better? If you would like more information about our science program, All About Aerodynamics, you can go to our website, aerodynamics.com. Or you can follow us on Instagram, Aerodynamics, and all the information you need to contact me is in the bio. And we can discuss how to bring our program to your school, or your organization, or your special event. But this is not all about aerodynamics. This is all about aerodynamics presents Wind Tunnel Wednesdays. So what is Wind Tunnel Wednesdays? Well, we have the FunTech Labs 1/64th scale wind tunnel, otherwise known as the Windsible. And with the Windsible, we can put Hot Wheels cars, Matchbox cars, 1/64th scale die-cast cars into the wind tunnel, turn it on, see the smoke streams flow over, under, and around those cars. And what we can observe is how drag will impact these cars when we race them. When do we race them? Well, we race the cars every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. live on YouTube and Twitch at AtTheTrack.live, where I introduce new cars into our fleet. I mentioned I bring about 400 different cars for the students to choose to race. But in actuality, the full scope of the fleet, we now have 961 different cars. And every Saturday, I go into storage, grab new cars, crack those open, we take a look, and we end up racing those cars. But wait, there's more. You have the opportunity to participate. All you have to do is go to AtTheTrack.live, and you're going to have 3 options. One's the YouTube stream link, one's the Twitch stream link, but the third option is the most important option. It is the option that says choose your car. If you select that option, you will be taken to this page, and on this page, all of the cars that are currently in the All About Aerodynamics at the Track Live fleet are listed, cataloged, numbered, and ready for you to choose. All you have to do is scroll through, find the car that you may want to pick to race. Let's say let's pick a random number, 134. Let's go down to car number 134. And let's say the car that you want is, in fact, this one, the Lamborghini Gallardo LP570-4 Superleggera. Well, you can click on that, you can take a closer look, you can see the reflection and determine if it's a metal body on a plastic base, plastic body on a metal base, and in some cases of our older cars, metal on metal. We have all types of cars. Once you find the car that you want, you just take the number, in this case 134, you drop that in the chat. I will pull that car, and once I pull that car, then if it's Saturday, you're ready to race, but today's Wednesday, so what will happen if you pick a car today is we'll take that car, I'll pull it, and we'll drop it into the wind tunnel. Once we drop it into the wind tunnel, we'll get a chance to see how that car, what its aerodynamic profile is, and get a sense for how we think it will perform on Saturday when we race the cars. We have cars from the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, some cars that were just recently released in the last few weeks, and they are all here. Whatever type of Hot Wheels car you're into, if we don't have that specific car, then we have something very similar. There are F1 cars, style cars, there are hypercars, supercars, cars based around food. We have some Matchbox cars in there. If you are into sort of bizarre, strange cars, we've got bizarre, strange cars. We've got tuned cars. We've got dinosaur cars. We've got fish cars. We've got what other animal? We have there's a spider car. We have 2 turbo roosters. Whatever it is, whatever kind of car you're looking for, it's here. And some of these cars have never been selected by any of the students, and they've never hit the track, so we really don't know how they're going to perform. Sometimes we get cars that surprise us. Sometimes the cars perform as expected, but what we do see after racing so many cars is that we start to see patterns emerge, and we start to see certain types of cars do better on our track. Now, our track is a flat drag track, so it is not a gravity track, which is what the majority of Hot Wheels races that are on YouTube are. They're gravity tracks. And there are different considerations and things you want to think about when you're picking a car to race on a gravity track versus our track, which is a flat drag track. And because it's a flat drag track, the most important force that's working against the forward momentum of your car is drag. And like with everything, the faster an object moves through the air, the more it's impacted by drag. And on our track, we see that time and time again. We see how drag is impacting the cars. Usually it's towards the back end when it becomes clear, but it's definitely a factor. So there's drag, friction, and gravity, which are the 3 forces really impacting the car's performance. And if you can find a car that can minimize the impact of those forces, then you might have a car that can become our winner and our fastest in fleet car. Our current fastest in fleet car is this one. Talking about out-of-the-box cars. This is the Super Stinger. Let me throw some more light on the Champ. And the Super Stinger was selected by Neverending. Hey, Christopher, Virgo, Roughshod, Jetta Set Orlando. Nice, and everyone else. The Super Stinger was selected by Neverending, and he's made a habit of just making out-of-the-box picks. And this car, I didn't expect it to do as well as it did. Turns out it beat our fastest in fleet car, our former fastest in fleet car, which was the Arkham Asylum Batmobile. And that car had been our fastest car for about 2 weeks before it was beaten by, it beat out the Mercedes-Benz 500E. And then prior to that, we had the Blitzspeeder, which was the car that was our fastest in fleet car for the majority of 2025. But we've got a new champ now. And if you think you can pick a car faster than the Super Stinger, then all you have to do is go to AtTheTrack.live, go to choose your car, and find the car you want to race. Drop the number in the chat, I'll pull it, and boom. We will race the cars. But today, what you have an opportunity to do is select a car, we'll throw it in the wind tunnel, and then you can see, and based on what we see, we really can get an idea. Now, some of the fantasy cars are not as easy to kind of determine how they're going to perform because they have so many strange angles and pieces and parts. But for the most part, what you see in the wind tunnel will inform how that car is going to perform. So this gives you an opportunity to try out a couple of cars. I know that the last time we were up here, Roughshod and Christopher tried out a couple of cars and settled on the ones that they're going with, and Roughshod is going with this one, the Piranha Terror. Very much an out-of-the-box kind of pick, but like I said, with the fantasy cars, it is hard to tell sometimes exactly how they're going to perform. With the Super Stinger, so in the case of the Super Stinger and the Dogfighter, they way overperform, and sometimes, in other cases, those weird cars, strange cars, fantasy cars, just don't live up to the expectations. But we are always up to race them and find out which cars are going to do their thing. Christopher went with this Captain Marvel car, which is a pretty solid pick. I think that it has definitely got potential. Any concerns I have to do with this giant splitter here, but that's because I don't necessarily see that the air is going to be able to pass through here. We do see there is an opening right here in the front, so that's good. But otherwise, it's a solid pick because it's a wide car, so it shouldn't bounce around the track too much, and we really should get a sense for whether or not this is going to be a character car that's going to stick around, or if it is going to end up just being a character car that we file away with the other character cars as being a little too something. And with the character cars, it's usually weight that kind of takes them down because they are more premium cars, so there tends to be a little bit more metal involved, and that increases the weight. But that is just one of the factors we consider. However, since we are looking at our new or our reigning current fastest in fleet car, fastest in fleet car is always the first one into the wind tunnel, and this is the Super Stinger. So we're going to go ahead, fire up the wind tunnel, take a look and see what we can see as far as this car's aerodynamic profile, and maybe it'll give us some clue as to why it did so well. And once I fire this up, let's go ahead, and as soon as this smoke comes into view, we'll get to see the path that it's traveling over the car. And so one thing I remember from when we checked this car out the first time is that it is definitely got an issue. We're pushing this up to 107 miles per hour. The air, you can see that second airstream hitting right at the nose, right at the bumper and the hood, coming up over the top. And then the thing that's interesting is this airflow, it doesn't continue to follow along the body, the curve and the lines of the body. It definitely comes up over the top and kind of breaks away right here. And as we turn this up, let's push this, and we are, it's funny because with this one it kind of peaks up here and then comes down right about there, and the air is following along that curve to an extent, and you can kind of see it right here, that faint line kind of goes up and then comes back down. If the air were truly kind of breaking away from the body, these lines would be going up. It wouldn't be still kind of following this curve. And that's what you want, is you want the air following along the curves and contours of the body. When that air breaks away, when there's that separation in the airflow, then you are going to end up in a situation where there's lower air pressure, and you'll have the higher air pressure at the front, lower air pressure where that flow separation occurs, and you'll ultimately end up creating a basically pressure drag, which is going to work against the forward momentum of the car. And certain cars, the Blitzspeeder, the Slide Kick, the Gazella R, we put them in the wind tunnel and we can see that there is not a lot of turbulent air as it flows over the car. But this Super Stinger is interesting because it's only raced this past week. We're pushing this up to 174 miles per hour, and it only raced this past week. It beat out the Batmobile, which was our fastest in fleet car for the last 2 weeks. And it's hard to say, is this going to be another one and done car, or will we see something more? Now with this one, what we're also seeing is this airflow. You can see this curve right there where it's coming up, because if you look at the bottom of this car, it's not flat. It doesn't come back straight. It kind of tails up. And if you really kind of just like squint and look at it, you can see this teardrop shape right here, where it's thin at the back, kind of balloons up here, and then comes to more of a rounded kind of curve there. And a teardrop is the most aerodynamic shape there is. And now, of course, this car has other, elements in the back, but for the most part, we are getting that kind of teardrop. And the only other car that I have, well, two others that are kind of have that teardrop shape, pushing this up to 188 miles per hour, are that Finding Nemo car, and then the the name just slipped my mind, but it is another car we have that's based on an actual car. And when I read up on it, the designers actually were trying to create a teardrop effect. And I'm sure I'll think of the name here soon, and I had one on the desk for the longest time. But anyway, this is the Super Stinger. And that is our fastest in fleet car right there. And we're going to see on Saturday if it can hold up. We went so long having the same cars be our champions that it's kind of strange almost that almost every 2 weeks now we're having a new champion. Where it was the Mercedes-Benz, it was the Batmobile, now it's the Super Stinger. How long can the Super Stinger hang on to that title? I have no idea. But that's the fun, and we are going to find out how long it can hang in there. So I see that Christopher and Roughshot are still locked in with their picks, and Roughshot, we're going to check out 441 and 449. Well, Christopher sent me an email and showed me some pictures of some cars or trucks that he had that had I forget the series, but basically there were they had like snow plows on them. It was kind of like heavy machinery, and I mentioned that I didn't have those, but the only thing I had that was close is this one, which I had when I was a kid. This speedy snow removal pickup truck. I think we may have actually put this, I don't know if it was on the track or not, but I can see, I remember I didn't like the snowplow part, and you can see right here on the plastic where it's got a little bit of white right there. It's clearly where I tried to bend and break the snowplow off of this thing. I'm glad that I didn't, but there is the snowplow. That thing is all metal. It is straight 80s Hot Wheels car. Might even be late 70s. I don't know. But, well, I guess I can know. All I have to do is look at the bottom. The bottom says 1979. And I was kind of curious because, so Christopher had the different trucks, and they had the snow plows. And obviously the snowplow, when we put it into the wind tunnel, is going to create just a huge barrier, all this huge frontal area. I'm just kind of curious to see what we see in the wind tunnel when that wind, when that air, when that smoke hits this snowplow and then has to go up, over, and around. What I believe will happen is we'll see the air build up here, and when it comes up over the top, it will not start to follow the hood. I think we'll just see the air just kind of stream up and away, and we'll probably see a lot coming around the sides because there's not really a lot of room for it to pass underneath the bottom of the snowplow. So let's go ahead and see what we're gonna do. Let's see. Christopher says McMurtry Sperling that I just picked up this past weekend. I haven't seen that. That's a that must be pretty new. Is that a Hot Wheels car or a Matchbox, or some other? Let's see. I don't know. With this one, we probably don't need the wheel stands because this thing is pretty tall as it is. So I'm gonna go ahead and just put this in there, and let's switch it over here to this view. This speedy snow removal. I forget what the actual name of this truck is. It's not actually in the fleet because with most of these cars that I had when I was a kid and played with, the axles are pretty much bent, and the cars aren't going to roll well on the track. But hey, we're gonna see what happens here. All right, firing this up, getting to, oh, see, look at this thing. A little temperamental, it shut off, but we're gonna fire it right back up. See if we can get it up to our cruising speed. Up, here it goes again. And I think, what do they say? Third time's the charm. Blow that out, hit it, and let's go ahead and see if we can get some action here. And that air is hitting the snowplow. Now it is coming up across the hood, and I mean, I guess it's flowing as we would expect, but we can see that right here when that air hits the snowplow and it has to go over, under, and around, we're seeing a lot coming around the bottom, but you see this huge kind of arc right here where the air is coming up over the top. And as we turn this up and get the speed going, should see that's a little more clear. We're up to 134 miles per hour, and that air is definitely being deflected right off of that snowplow, right up over the top, and we still see that arc. Some of the air from that third stream is hitting right at the roof, getting to the windshield, coming up over the top, and then definitely we just see the air kind of tailing off. Some falls down here, but it's all very turbulent air, and that flow separation is happening, and you can just see it here, right there, and the air just tails off. There's nothing behind this for the air to, for that airflow to attach to. And so this is pretty much what we would expect. The Arkham Knight Batmobile, I have that one right here. I'll grab it when I go and get those two cars that Roughshod was talking about, 441 and 449, and then I'll grab that Batmobile. So let me grab those right now. So this big old school Hot Wheels truck, pushing this up to 161 miles per hour, and that is it's just interesting to see some of these older cars. The ones that I have, if the axles are straight, then I'll put them on the track. And there's some of those cars that I had when I was a kid that are in the fleet. But then there's a whole group of other ones that just can't make it. And this car, I mean, you can kind of see right there that axle is off, and we wouldn't get a proper, and the wheels spin, but it's not great. But that is one of my favorite Hot Wheels cars from when I was a kid, so I keep it around even if it can't necessarily race. So let's go ahead and see which cars Roughshod wants to take a look at in the wind tunnel. And we are going all the way down, kind of midway. We are kind of inching our way towards 1,000. I'm still trying to figure out which car should be the 1,000th car. I kind of want it to be special in some way, and I'm taking all kinds of, I'll take any suggestions, advice, etc. 441, I might not have pulled the right case because that car is actually a little bigger. So there's a different case I need to grab. So let's take a look at the other one, which is 449. Oh, haha. Yeah, 449 is this one. 449 is the Veloci-Racer, which dinosaur-themed cars are popular picks, especially with the really younger students who tend, not there, right here, who tend to get kind of pulled in to the character cars, and it kind of overrides their ability to make choices based on the science and what they've learned. As soon as they see a car that is designed after one of their favorite characters, they throw the science out the window and go with their heart over their head. And this is sometimes the kind of cars that get picked, but that's not always a bad thing, because that's how we find the sleeper cars. If they only went with what I was suggesting for them, or not suggesting for them, but suggesting to them based on the science, then you would have everybody basically picking Lamborghinis, or some variation. A Lamborghini, a Ferrari, the kind of typical hypercars, and that you would think of as like being, oh, this is a great aerodynamic car. Sometimes it takes these wild picks to find the sleeper, and that car that you didn't really expect to be all that fast. So let's take a look at this Veloci-Racer in the wind tunnel. And this is funny because this one, I wouldn't be surprised if it was fast. Something about it. I think the wind tunnel is not, this is a car where the wind tunnel is not really going to tell the story, because this is just such a odd, weird shape. I'm going to push this up, get our 67 miles per hour, our cruising speed. And I think just with the shape of the dinosaur, the regular rules don't apply. I mean, you can't really compare what we see in the wind tunnel for this car with what we would see if we put in a Ford Focus. It's just, there's too many intangible things with this. But we can see at 107 miles per hour how the air is just kind of wrapping around and flowing around the dinosaur. Right here, wrapping around the head. This flow that's hitting the head kind of straight on, you can definitely see how it's sort of rising up over the head and then getting to the body. And for the most part, this fourth airstream is kind of following, it's getting pushed up a little, follows that curve. And then when it hits the tail, it's pretty much just wrapping around the tail. And let's push the speed up a bit. Jumping up to 147 miles per hour. And it's getting a little bit more definition. The air is kind of streaming out from the sides, up over the top. That tail just, I mean, I don't even know what to make of some of the parts of this, which is why the wind tunnel is great to kind of inform us about what to expect when these cars are on the track. But especially with these fantasy cars, can't really rely on that. Let's push this up to 174 miles per hour. And looking at the Veloci-Racer, just one of many fantasy cars. If you really want to go the fantasy car route, then we've got you covered. And I definitely think that this is one that I wouldn't be surprised if this one did well. Also, taking into consideration that the dinosaur part of this car is plastic, and the little engine, I mean, most of what I'm looking at appears to be just a plastic car sitting on a metal base. So I think that this one might actually be fast, and I wouldn't be surprised if this ended up being a sleeper car. So maybe in the future we will get a pick. And oh, hang on, let me switch the view over here. So as I was pulling this car up, I saw this on the bottom. that little symbol right there is the little best for track symbol, and suggests that this would be a fast car, that this would do well on the track. Now, Mattel never really specifies why that is, and if this is just a little gimmick for marketing purposes. They never explain what makes a best for track car any different than any other car. But when we're looking at this one, that dark green part, the base is metal. Everything else, the dinosaur and that the engine and all the little parts beneath that are all plastic. Even the dinosaur's, I'm noticing the dinosaur's mouth, plastic and open. I don't see that the air can necessarily pass through. There is an opening right there, so that's going to trap some air right there, which is not ideal and not good. But otherwise, this thing, who knows? Who knows? So maybe this will get picked in a future upcoming race. I guess that would be the same thing. A future race, an upcoming race, same difference. But not a bad pick if the idea is to go really way out of the box. This is the Arkham Asylum Batmobile, which was our fastest in fleet champion for a couple of weeks there, before it was taken out by the Super Stinger. And the Super Stinger made pretty easy work of the Batmobile, which I'm not going to say it was a surprise, because the Batmobile hadn't been champion long enough for us to kind of get used to it being dominant. So let's go ahead and we'll throw this. Christopher wants to see this one back in the wind tunnel, and we can do that. I think this one is still it's still got the fantasy car thing working for it, in that the curves are going to be a little tough to, it's going to be a little hard to tell exactly what the aerodynamic profile is of this car, because it's got unique lines. But there we see right there, as the smoke streams come into view, we see that air builds up right at the front, and then it's got to do something, and the air that's coming over the top is coming over the top and really seems to be separating from the body right in this area. I mean, we can see this kind of arc up, and it's faint, but we can still see it pushing up this way. Some of the air is coming across, hitting across the hood, hitting the windshield, going up top, and push the speed up to 107. And sometimes when we speed up the air streams, then we get a better look and idea about how the car, what its aerodynamic profile is, and how we can guess that it may or may not perform. And push this on up to 134 miles per hour. And the airflow is very turbulent, like right in this area, which, if you think back to the Blitzspeeder or some of the really fast cars that we've seen, the airflow is pretty smooth. It stays attached to the lines of the car, and we don't see a lot of this sort of jittery, turbulent air here. But let's go ahead and push this up to 147 miles per hour. I think part of it is that this angle in the front of this car it's got a lot of frontal area, and that air is hitting the front, and when it's coming up over the top, but it's not, there's nothing from here, from this kind of midsection of the hood back to the windshield. There's not really a path for the air to follow. in terms of the body of the car. So it's kind of coming up. The body of the car dips down a little bit, and that air, you can see it right there, just flowing up over the top and across the back of this car. Now it was fast. It was our fastest in fleet car, but because its reign only lasted 1 or 2 weeks, we can't really say too much about it. And that's at 174 miles per hour. I'm going to go and grab that other car that Roughshod was looking at. It's in a different case, so I'm going to grab that, and then we'll throw that in the wind tunnel. Right, and that's the Arkham Asylum Batmobile. It was a surprising pick, but it's definitely, I believe it's safe to say that would have been our fastest Batmobile. I think that's kind of clear, but we do have 17 Batmobiles in total, 17 different Batmobiles. So if Batmobiles are your thing, then we've got plenty of those. Unfortunately, with the way that the web page is set up, you don't have the opportunity to search for a specific car and have that come up. It's a problem I've mentioned before with Squarespace, the company that hosts the website. And there's not really much I can do about it. And so if there is a specific Batmobile you're looking for, all you have to do is just let me know. Send me a DM, send me an email. I will check the master spreadsheet and let you know if that is a car that we have. Now this one, this is the, forget the names of these. And this one's not on the bottom, but I know it's on it's definitely on the spreadsheet. This was 441, which means this is the come on, what is it called? This is the Night Draggin. That's right, the Night Draggin. And it raced, I want to say, man, it was not too long ago. I don't remember if it was on AtTheTrack.live or if, I know students have picked this, definitely. But it is another of those cars that's so unique that I don't know that putting it in the wind tunnel will really tell us all that much. But we're going to throw it in there. It's kind of cool. There's an actual, the driver right here is a knight, like he's riding this, it's in this definite dragon style. And let's see what we see in the wind tunnel. Check this out. We have the Night Draggin, and get this wheels positioned right under there. Speaking of unique cars, I saw that it was probably about, I don't know, a few weeks back, maybe a month ago, that I was at the Hot Wheels Legends Tour, and there's some video from that on our YouTube channel where you can where I'm walking around and taking a look at all the different cars that are the custom cars that are in a competition to become an actual Hot Wheels car. And I saw that they announced the winning car from that competition, the LA portion of it. and it was one of the cars that I mention and show in the video. But then there was another vote to pick, I guess, of the cars that won in the different cities in the U.S. They narrowed it down to one. So the car that got picked to represent the United States is actually a custom pickup truck. I want to say it's a Silverado. And then there's cars from Latin America, Europe, and Australia. I think there's at least 4 or 5. I'm not certain on exactly the regions that the cars are from, but on the 15th, so I guess that would be Saturday, they are going to announce the winner. I'm sure it's going to be live on all of the Mattel and Hot Wheels channels, and they will be announcing which car is the winner and is going to end up being turned into a Hot Wheels car. That AutoZam is the one that kind of comes to mind, that kind of odd monster truck type vehicle. But there's been plenty more. So on Saturday we'll get to find out which car it is. Alright, this is up to 107 miles per hour, and one thing I'm noticing that's interesting is the air that is hitting this right here in the front of the car. It's kind of hitting the Dragon's face, coming around the side, and you can see here some of the air is going over this wheel well, some's going underneath, but it's kind of forming that curve right there that you can see. And let's go ahead and turn this up to 134 miles per hour. And the air that's coming up over the top seems to just be tailing off and going up into the air. And we see again a lot of turbulence back here. The bottom of the car is not flat. In fact, it's got a pretty extreme curve upward, then back down. So the air is just not really adhering and following the lines of the body underneath. It's just kind of coming apart. Now here we go with this thing. I'm going to fire this right back up because I wanted to push this up to about 174. Yeah, it's just not, the air, you're right, the airflow is not really the best, but it's just so hard to tell with these cars. Excuse me. With these kind of extreme fantasy cars. It's just hard to tell. But I will say that Veloci-Racer car, I am curious about that one. And we might have to just throw that in the mix on Saturday just to see, because I still, like I said, this is up to 174 miles per hour, and this is not, there's nothing about this that suggests to me this is going to be the car, this is going to be fast, this is going to be able to beat out a bunch of other cars. It's just, it's a little strange, and, which is cool, because we've got, every car can't look like a Lotus or a Ferrari. That would be very boring, and I know that there's people who don't like the fantasy cars, and they just want to collect, I don't know, Nissan Skylines and what have you. But yeah, I like the variety, and of the 900 and some odd cars that we have, there are some wildly different cars, and the thing is, you never know which one is going to be the one. Oh, Christopher, you have that AutoZam in white. Yeah, I think I have one in storage, but it's or it might be I have a whole box full of trucks, Hot Wheels trucks that are probably just too wide to fit on the on too wide to fit in the launcher, and therefore can't race. But one day I'll figure out something to do with those trucks and have some fun with them. But yeah, just scrolling through, there are so many. This is another one that I had when I was a kid. This Datsun, this 200SX, and I remember on this is a gold with the gold Hot Ones wheels. On this one, I believe that the hood raises up, but you can tell from the paint scrapes that this was definitely one that I played with. That Dixie Challenger, that fake General Lee. They basically took a Roger Dodger and tried to make some money from the Dukes of Hazzard car. But yeah, we just got such a random assortment of cars, and we're gonna find out, because we definitely have an odd one, and with Roughshods pick of this Piranha Terror. I'm very interested to see how this car does. It's compact. We'll find out what the weight is. This part of the mouth that comes up, that air is going to hit that, which is what we saw. The air hits that and then gets pushed underneath the car in a pretty extreme way. We've had some cars where the splitters lift up or tilt down, but not even those have this sort of extreme angle. Yeah, we're going to find out, and we'll find out on Saturday what the cars weigh, and yeah, it's gonna be pretty interesting. I like the back end. We have these yellow kind of fins, but also engines, whatever, exhaust. Those are gonna press right up against the launching block. This thing should get a pretty good push. What we'll find out Saturday is how much it weighs, and once we know how much it weighs, then we can probably make some other predictions and get some other ideas, because if it's really light, then drag is probably going to end up kind of slowing it down toward the back end of the track. But if it has some weight, and I know that the yellow part on this car is metal, so maybe it's going to have enough weight to really make something happen. So this is the car that right now I'm most curious about. That the Veloci-Racer is also one that's very interesting, that we might just throw into the mix on Saturday, even though it's already in the fleet, and just see what happens. We might do that. Let's see. Perfect Speed, based on a cat. I've seen that name, and I just checked the spreadsheet, and I don't have it listed, so it must be, I must have it. It's probably still in storage. I definitely have seen that name, and it's probably in storage, and at some point we will come across it, and it will be introduced into the fleet. The Arkham Knight Batmobile. I don't think so. That doesn't ring a bell. We just have, let's see, Arkham Batmobile. Arkham. No, I don't see that. Well, with the Batmobiles, we have the Batman and Robin Batmobile, Arkham Asylum Batmobile, Batman Live Batmobile, Batman Rebirth Batmobile, Batman and Robin Batmobile, Batman the Animated Series Batmobile, 89 Batmobile, the Batman Forever Batmobile, a Gold Batmobile, a Hard-Nosed Batmobile, an ID Car Batmobile, Superman vs. Batman Batmobile, the Batman Batmobile, the Brave and the Bold Batmobile, the 1966 classic TV series Batmobile, and let's see, it says TV series ID. So we have two different ID Batman cars or Batmobiles. One is one of the ones from the movies, and the other is the old school one from the TV series. So plenty of Batmobiles, but definitely I don't recall an Arkham Knight Batmobile. So that'll be one for me to look out for. But we have races coming up. Races will be coming up on Saturday. We have 2 cars already in the mix, possibly a third with the Veloci-Racer. We might do that. I have some cars that I've pulled from storage, and I have another car that I picked up while I was out of town. I can't help it. Every time I go into a store, I'm going to go down that Hot Wheels aisle and I'm going to look. A lot of the cars that I'm seeing right now, in my area at least, are cars that I already have. They're just different color schemes. I haven't seen any of the Ferraris, the new Ferraris that are out. Maybe, somebody has seen them in their areas, but I haven't seen those, and I have a feeling that those are the cars that the collectors are going to swoop in and grab. So unless I just happen to get to a store at just the right time and catch them, there's certain cars I don't really expect to see unless they just start cranking them out to the point where they kind of flood the market. But it's fine. We've got plenty of cars to choose from. I've got hundreds of cars in storage, so we won't be running out of cars anytime soon. But if you can think of a car, I'm still trying to figure out that special car for the 1000th car. We'll be hitting that probably in January sometime, like about mid-January. Okay. So you've seen one mainline Ferrari, then that's better than me, because I haven't seen any. I've seen them on YouTube, people doing unboxing and things like that, but just out in the wild, I haven't seen them. But I'll be keeping an eye out. We do have some Ferraris just because before the licensing deal or whatever it is ended with Mattel and Hot Wheels, they've restarted it. But before they ended it, they had a bunch of Hot Wheels, and so we've got actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 different Hot Wheels. Couple of duplicates, 2 Ferrari P4s, 2 Ferrari 333 SPs, one black and one orange, 2 Ferrari 360 Modenas, one is an X-Racer car. But yeah, we've got a bunch of Ferraris, Ferrari 612 Scagaletti, Ferrari California, F40, F50, Ferracin 274. Before we go, I want to see what this car is. It's Ferrari, but then they put racing in it, so it's Ferracin 274. This might be a fantasy car, because I don't know that Ferrari would let them just mangle the name of one of their cars. 274. Okay. So this one, the Ferracin, I don't see any Ferrari badge on it, so I guess this is just a fantasy car. So, yeah, that's fine. Anyway, we have plenty of cars to choose from, no matter what you're looking for. If it is, you're saying that the Perfect Speed is from the Chinese. I definitely have that. That car is around here. Yeah, I've seen it because it looks like it's like a cat, or a it looks like a cat or a tiger or something. basically on four wheels. I don't know how else to explain it, but I think it might be in storage. So if I come across it, I will pull that car. But we've got plenty of cars to choose from. If you want to pick a car to race, just join us at the Track Live Saturday, 11 a.m. Pacific, live on YouTube and Twitch. Go to AtTheTrack.live to find the car that you want to pick. Take the number of that car. Saturday, once we get going, just drop it in the chat. I will pull the car. We will race the car, and that's how it goes. We'll see if you can take down the Super Stinger, and then you'll also have to take down, but before you get to the Super Stinger, you have to take down Roughshod's Piranha Terror, Christopher's Captain Marvel, and maybe the Veloci-Racer, and whichever other cars I can pull out of storage to race. So we are ready to go, and I will be here on Saturday morning. Hopefully you can too. If you missed any episodes, you can go to our YouTube channel, and all of the past episodes are under the live tab. So there it is for All About Aerodynamics, for Wind Tunnel Wednesday, and for At the Track Live. I am Coach James, and I will see you at the races.